Okay. I can see why people were telling me to make a video about this book. I don't remember what your name is, but I know you were in my comments really adamant that I make a video about this book. And I get it. This book is not only my favorite of year 2, but it's probably my favorite in all of Classroom of the Elite. I think my previous favorite was year 2 volume 5 with the unanimous exam and how Kushida, she potentially was going to be expelled. And I will say that I can agree that saying that this book is my favorite, it's probably recency bias, and maybe after a few weeks, maybe a few months, my opinion might change and it won't be my favorite. But as of right now, this book is my favorite, and man, it set up a lot of stuff for year 3. This book was fire. Man, oh man, let's talk about this book. This review, it's gonna be a little bit different from those that I did in the past. I wasn't a big fan of that format, hence why I haven't done a review in a minute. I would try to go chapter by chapter, making sure not to miss out on any detail. We ain't doing all that. I just don't like the way that it did in the past. Instead, I'm going to talk about certain things that stood out to me in this book, as well as the implications that these events have on the rest of the series. Let's start off with Kei and Kiyotaka breaking up. The writing was on the wall for a minute. I'd say around volume 8 or volume 9 of year 2. I made a TikTok about this a while ago, so you guys should definitely follow me there. There's a lot of exclusive Classroom of the Elite and other anime content on there that you guys never see on YouTube. But back during that TikTok, I said that Kiyotaka, he was cheating because him and Ichinose, they were doing some stuff and spending a lot of time alone with each other in secret that Kei didn't necessarily know about. Now, well, before this book, they didn't kiss, they didn't do anything in that regard. But I can almost guarantee you that if Kei saw the different interactions and the different things that Untitled was doing with Ichinose, she would not be happy with it. Plus, from book 9 onward, Kei, she could tell that something was off with their relationship and she was insecure, and I can 100% see why. I think she was definitely justified with being insecure because Kiyotaka, he is one of my favorite main characters out there, but let's call a spade. He was 100% wrong because of what he was doing with Ichinose in secret. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, if my girl was meeting up with a boy in a one-on-one setting, oh, we're breaking up immediately. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And it's especially bad in this case because Ichinose is the most desirable girl in their grade. You can make the argument of Kushida, but hands down Ichinose is definitely number 1 because of her looks, grades, athleticism, personality. She had it all. So could we really blame Kei for being insecure and upset about this? I sure couldn't. And Kei, I love her and I love Ichinose more, but you know, if I was looking at it objectively, Kei 100% was in the right here. Now, yes, we know that Kiyotaka, he ended up getting close to Ichinose because he wanted to be the person to bury her, put her in the coffin, and we'll talk about that later in the Ichinose portion of this video. But in this book, Kei and Kiyotaka, they went on a final date, and he decided this would be when he would break up with her. It was both so that he could finish learning about love, and Kei could also grow and be on her own because she was strong enough to do so. However, something really shocked me, and it was the fact that Kiyotaka truly loved her and he didn't want to break up with her. He stated that he knew the words that he wanted to say, but he couldn't. It was stuck in his throat. The only reason why he went through with the breakup, well, there's 2 reasons. 1, to implement different strategies for year 3, as well as he wanted to see how he would react to it. Similar to when he asked her to be his girlfriend, he didn't smile. On the outside, Kiyotaka, he didn't showcase any sadness when they broke up, but it's interesting to note that Kei, she was the one that got the words out instead of Ayano Koji. Koenji. So I guess technically we got to see his emotion on the inside, but not on the outside. He didn't shed a tear or anything. The only time that we've been able to see him show some form of emotion outside has been in year 2 volume 10, whenever he was talking with Horikita and he showed a smile. Whenever Kiyotaka be on his shit, I love him as a character. I think that's whenever he's at his best, but I also enjoy seeing him experience stuff for the first time because his reactions, they're just really interesting to see. As for Kei, is it tragic? Of freaking course. This is the first boy that she truly loved, but she has different friends now like Sato, who will help her bounce back since she's gotten over being bullied and everything she's gone through with Kiyotaka. Now she'll finally be able to stand on her own without necessarily needing someone like she did in the past with Kiyotaka and Yosuke. Which is not to say that she didn't love Kiyotaka, because she did, but their entire relationship, at least towards the beginning, was built off of Kei's survival. And this is just me personally. Once they started going out, I found her to be a little bit less interesting, and I can't wait to see her growth and what she'll do to year 3. I assume that she's going to play a key role in probably trying to stop Kiyotaka. In year 3, oh, it's going to go down between Kiyotaka and Koenji. We've gotten blue-balled and edged long enough. I am really hoping that Koenji is someone that forces Kiyotaka to try both mentally and physically. To a certain degree, I'd say that these two, they parallel each other by not going all out, having their own agendas that nobody can truly figure out, because in this book, Koenji and Kiyotaka's parent-teacher conferences, they were right after each other. Koenji knew that Kiyotaka, that he was planning to move classes, and something that's interesting is that Kiyotaka, he, did a little stab, a little jab. He provoked Koenji, saying that he might even try to get someone expelled like Michan, and that's basically where they threw down the gauntlet. And obviously Koenji, he's confident in his abilities, he's not scared, so any type of provoking that Kiyotaka attempts to do, Koenji's not really biting it. Now this is all talk, but I am a firm believer that next year we'll finally see these two go all out, because after hearing the type of child that Kiyotaka was, Koenji's father and Kiyotaka's father, they have a wager. If Kiyotaka wins, then Ayano gets an audience with President Koenji 101, but if Koenji wins, then Ayano has to be out of the world of politics forever. As I mentioned so far, and this includes Amasawa and Yagami as well from the White Room, Koenji, I believe that he is the only one who is capable of going toe-to-toe with Kiyotaka. Like I said, whenever Kiyotaka showcases dominance is cool, but I really want to see him finally have to sweat for once throughout the series. But if you guys have made it this far into the video and you're enjoying the content, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. I pump out different content almost each and every day. Ichinose is freaking insane. This girl, she is very into toxic men. It's actually insane how she left my boy Kiyotaka a cooter trap, and the fact that he fell for it, I was not expecting that. I will give him a little bit of grace, because have you seen her? I would have folded too. If I was trapped in a room with Alicia Keys and she wanted me like Ichinose wanted Kiyotaka, oh, best believe I would have done the same thing. But all of this happened because of the promise at the end of year 1 and how they said that they'd meet again. Kiyotaka, he gave her 2 options. Number 1, he'd become the leader of Class D, which is her current class, and he'd lead them to Class A by the end of the year if she'd leave the school. And he thinks he could do it even if she were to leave, which instead of being a 500-point difference would jump up to an 800-point difference because of Ichinose, her being expelled or voluntarily expelling herself, similar to Sagayanagi. Or the other option is, hey, she could stay here, be the leader, but nothing would change and her class would ultimately lose at the end of year 3. However, she gave him a third option, which I have to say, she's crazy, because How the hell can you like someone or still associate yourself with someone who wronged you as much as he did this entire time? Hell, he even gaslit her for the most part. And the third option was to use each other for their own agenda, which included her sleeping with him. And I assume that that also means that they're going to collaborate when it comes to different exams, different class points, ultimately uniting two classes into one. And then the closer that they get to the end of year 3, when all the classes are balanced out, that they will no longer have that one class like alliance, and the 4 classes will compete, and whoever is the victor will then end up being class A. I will say, even though she's crazy, this is kind of genius. You could say it's a win-win for both sides, because for Ichinose, she gets to help her class, and she also got to sleep with the person that she had a crush on forever. And for Kiyotaka, it keeps Ichinose around who can still grow and become more dangerous, as well as her class can still climb up to the top 4 so that we can have the 4-way finish, as well as, well, he got to learn about sex, so I guess it's a win. Koenji got some motion though, I will say, because looking at how she was interacting with her classmates after the next chapter, she bounced back real quick. The big reveal that happened at the end of the book was that Chabishira, she no longer had the Joker in her class, and that is because Kiyotaka, he ended up joining class C, so now he is the leader of the class that Saganaki was leading. There are a few things that I want to comment about this. First, I called this a while ago that his goal was to transfer classes ever since he had that conversation with Saganaki during the sports festival. Now, I didn't get this 100% right personally. I thought he was going to join Ichinose's class, which, as stated earlier in the book, it was an option. And this, I thought about it because of process elimination. That's the only one that made sense, since he was already in Horikita's class and he wanted to challenge Ruin again. Saganaki, she was the class leader, so Ichinose's class clearly was the only option, especially because she was behind everyone else. However, I didn't have all the information. I didn't know the secret between Ryuen and Saganaki was that they made a wager, and whoever would lose would have to be expelled. You know what happened in the last book. Saganaki admitted defeat because Kiyotaka stated that he didn't want to fight her, he wanted to fight Ryuen, simply because Ryuen, Ichinose, and Horikita, they still have room to grow. And not saying that Saganaki isn't talented and special, because she is, but he's betting on the upside of the other people compared to someone who's probably already peaked. Think of it as a general manager in sports, and for this example I'll do basketball, where you're taking someone for an upside rather than someone who can contribute to winning immediately. For example, in the NBA, people like Dalton Connect or Jaime Jaquez, they were in college longer than others, so they're more pro ready compared to someone like Bilal Coulibaly, who was a little bit more raw and not as polished, but because of his upside, someone's willing to take a risk, and he could potentially be better than those two later down the line. That's why he chose Ryuen over Saganaki. I also think that Kiyotaka becoming her class's leader, it's a seamless fit because the two of them, they pretty much think alike. I'm really curious how year 3 is going to be for Kiyotaka as a leader out in the open, because I wonder if he's going to win or not, because if he does succeed, that means that his current class reaches class A, and it means that nobody could challenge him, which, to be fair, unless it's something that he's never studied or a situation outside of his control, he believes that he will always win. And if you look at the current class points, I wonder if Kiyotaka will be able to turn the class around with that 500 point difference within the year. Because if you look at the current class standings, technically they're not in last, but they basically are. It'll be unheard of for him to pull this off, but at the same time, he's the Joker. On the flip side, if he does lose and he's unable to lead this class in a class A, he would have technically gotten what he wanted by being defeated and proving that the White Room isn't necessarily the end all be all. To be honest, as a reader, I'm not sure sure which outcome I would be the most satisfied with. I am interested to see how in year 3 the story is going to shift now that we have different characters that we're going to be spending a lot more time with, because for the most part we spend a lot of time with people in Horikita's class like Yosuke, Sudo, Kushida, Kei, etc. That's not to say that there aren't any interesting characters outside of that class, but for the whole first 2 years, for the most part, we were primarily focused on those students. And so it'll be new for the last year, and I can't wait to see how the author's going to tackle it. The last point I wanted to touch on involves Horikita, because how is she going to feel about this? I know in the beginning she didn't really give a fluff about Kiyotaka at all, but now as their relationship has grown, she started to care for him, because part of her goal was not only to reach class A, but it was to become someone that is worthy of standing next to Ayano Koji. She wanted to become like a partner to him, or an equal, heck, maybe even his girlfriend, as he joked about it in this book, which she felt something in her heart about it. I think out of everyone, seeing her reaction will be the one I'm most looking forward to, especially because it's not only him, but for the most part, all of Class A's victories was because of him. And also in this book, everybody was getting on Kiyotaka, saying that he had too much power for expelling a student. Well, how are they going to feel now that he's left the class and he already expelled students like Sakura and Maizono? Like, that's going to be pretty interesting as well. Also, depending on how successful this video is, I'll do another video where I talk about different key individuals that could potentially be rivals or be different problems that stand in Kiyotaka's way for year 3. But yeah, that's Classroom of the Elite year 2 volume 12 and a half. Like I said, personally, as of right now, this is my favorite book in the series. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.